don't think you've seen this one yet. You can paint it also if you've got the materials again.
Oh, cool.
You just want it to look different. Like this one I'm using right here is what people used as the basis for the marsh on the other side of the island and so on. But it's totally modifiable, transformable in real time. There's almost no limitations to it. And so we're on the beach messing around here, and this was completely barren. There was nothing on it when we first started here, and it's just grown over time, you know. These, I just realized I left you in the dust there. I'm so used to doing that.
That's okay.
We'll get there.
You pulled the Superman, flew away.
I tend to do that, you know. It's important people think that I have more power than I do.
So one of the things that you were telling us about, too, on our way over to the other side, is that I guess you guys had come up with a monetization model for this?
Yeah, everyone has been asking me that since before this campaign even started. I mean, they deserve to know anyway. I was just looking for a good medium to really go over it. We put a lot of thought into it, too. We did a poll on our forums once that basically said, which would you prefer? Would you prefer sale and subscription, or would you prefer to free-to-play and item mall specifically? And the overwhelming majority of people, over 80% of everybody, said, I want retail sale and subscription. Well, they didn't pick both of those, but that was the choice, was those two things or free-to-play and the item mall. And so what we decided to do was we're not going to have a totally free-to-play model, but what we do have is a model that says if you contributed in either one of the campaigns and it was more than the retail cost of the game, then guess what? You don't have to pay the retail cost. You've essentially already invested, and you know that's all we really asked, is to help us when we needed it. The subscription model is you're going to short out if you spend too long down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, I mean, you should, technically.
Yeah.
But the subscription is an option. You don't have to do it. But if you do it, what you unlock is the blocks that I showed you there earlier. Can you still go through the whole game without that specifically? Yeah, you can. I mean, you could harvest, you could create buildings and structures out of only modules like I was doing there. But the blocks really are cool, and they're useful for so many things, really. They're good for permanent structures, temporary structures, bunkers. You know, if you're under attack, you can build fortresses with them. You could build, and they're not just squares either. We've also got tons of different construction types, like curves, corners, angles, everything else. And you get that with your subscription. Basically, you could make a castle here on this beach and lob artillery at the other island next to you if you wanted to. But so we don't necessarily say you have to do it. But I think most people probably will. If about half people do, then we'll still be doing really well. But this little marshy area right here with the rocks and the grass and the palm trees, this is complete accident. Somebody did this in about 45 minutes to an hour as I was logging in one day. This was all beach ones. And you can see now there's two different colors of palm trees because these ones here were not supposed to be in the game at all. They're the standard Earth style our color of chlorophyll, and plants on this planet are supposed to be this sort of more aquamarine style, you know. And this is also a test of how tall trees will grow if you plant them and just leave them next to a decent water source also. And they got retarded tall. I'm hoping I can say that because I think that's an accurate description. Wouldn't you agree? And if you harvested these right now, it would just be, I'm not going to say a lot of wood because biologists will email me all night long and say, you know, there's no wood in palm trees. I know there's no wood in palm trees. It's a shrub. You understand what I'm saying, though. And so this was just, that one guy's like, oh, wow, look what I can do. And he raised that section of the land out of the water and made a little moat around it. And I just used it basically to show people, you know. It doesn't really serve any purpose, but it doesn't have to. It's kind of cool. And then people started building a little bit more on the beach here, you know. This is what Fudge built over here, was this little cafe with the 24/7 lights in it. And some chairs and stuff like that on the inside. But Again, we don't really have any civic designers, so it's really up to interpretation how high quality some people's architecture work is, you know. But that was another test. You can, like those tables, the chairs, I'm looking for some right now. You craft them in the game, artisan or architect, domestics, you put them down. You will be able to sit on them, there's just a little bit more work you need. And that goes for anything. So you decorate your houses as you see fit. And I'm going to show you my least crappy house over here.
Okay.
If you don't mind. And I did this, the walkway up there. See how it's sort of the stairs and the slopes go down to the beach? I was kind of proud of that. And I don't think a house like this would float anywhere else where it got below tropical temperatures all day, you know. Pretty drafty. A lot of crafting stations in this house here also. They don't really do much now because you don't need them, but you will need them, obviously. And we put down some red carpet, just sort of a chill-out zone. And again, the lights here, you know, daytime, nighttime. Then came up here to around these stairs, this way. And if you're at nighttime, you really get to see the light come up through those things. I took down one picture here you didn't want to see.
Yeah, probably don't want Justin Bieber having a bad day.
Yeah. Got rid of that. Stripper poles, though, I'm sure those are okay to show, right?
No, they're fine. Okay,
there's one right here in front of me. This is an example of doors. They're not supposed to do this, but it was just a test of our world, what we call the world mover, which essentially allows you to move things in real time. At the end game, it'll slide upwards. It's twisting right now because it thinks it's a large, actual, old-school door, you know. But this was the beginnings of my bedroom. I didn't spend very long on it anyway, but I wanted to make a skylight and see how the noon sun looks coming down through it, you know. But you can really, you'll have admin on anything like this you put down, and if you really wanted to hold some lizards hostage and so on, you could do so like that. And who knows, they might be useful for something in the future.
With the lizards?
Yeah. They're just one of the indigenous life forms.
Yeah. You should make them a resource.
A resource. Scaly skin. Yeah. If I could show you this one over here, too.
Let me bring the sun back up.
I think it looks great at night. I love nighttime. It's just a little bit more difficult to work with, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's more difficult to see.
Yeah. Larger lights would be really helpful, you know, like street lamps. They draw a lot of power, which isn't an issue right now, but in the future when you're designing your city, that's what you want to do. This is an example why I wanted to bring you over here of a different style, a different faction style. You see this ferrocrete is really dark.
Uh-huh.
It's got a lot of different properties than the generic style that other house was built out of.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how there's this curve around here, you know? You can make all sorts of different shapes out of it, just like I didn't want all right angles here, so I just made this curve around here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you could do a real curve too, not an angular curve like that, but that's sort of this faction style more. And I did this in like 30 minutes, so don't judge the quality of the game. But the exterior has the windows cut out of ferrocrete also, and that light above there that I put, so you can go in. And this is an example of this faction's style of assets specifically. You know, you notice how the walls are very metallic and everything else, and they have actual curves, and the windows are different. And they sort of do like the dark blue and orange style of thing with pretty much anything. And this is just a little club I was messing around with building. And I have no experience in design either. And I just built a VIP section up here for my homies, you know, because it's important to make sure your homies also play. Otherwise, you're in trouble. If you don't have them, you need to get them.
So one of the things you haven't shown off is combat in the game. Since we've talked about dying, can you kill
Yeah.
them?
I can beat the shit out of you. I can't really kill you because you have a ridiculous amount of health as is. But that's what the primary thing that we're trying to get out of this next campaign is we're on the cusp of it right now. The first part was trying to get the inventory working again because we couldn't use the inventory from our last incarnation of the game because all of that had to be converted over to script, which is a sort of a technical thing for saying if you want everything to change in real time in the world, you've got to do it through scripts. You can't do it through just standard C++. But as of just, a day ago, maybe even today, I get my days mixed up. We've got the inventory showing up now, and then it's a matter of adding properties to the actual guns and so on. And things happen every day, and that's what I really like about this and why I really want to keep it going. If you'll notice, something else we did that almost nobody does is I can shove your ass off of this corner if I really want to. Everybody involved had the same opinion, which is this modern thing of MMOs where you can walk straight through people is just ridiculous. It really it kills your immersion without bringing up a meme, And so everybody has mass. You've got your own collision volumes. Everything has mass. Well, what if I get blocked in a doorway? Well, then you shove that person out of the way. Well, what if they're more massive and I can't? Then you stab them. It's as simple as that, Use your imagination.
That'll deal with people standing around mailboxes. You can just kill them.
Exactly. If you saw this in Korean games all the time. People just body blocking other people with their stores, their shops, Just stab them. That'll punish them for leaving that character in there spamming people for 5 hours while they went to work,
Mm-hmm.
If they're smart enough, they will have done so around a cloner,
So what's this big old space-looking platform over here in the distance?
That's just a pre-made building, essentially. As you can imagine, something like this would take a lot of materials.
Yeah.
There's only 2 on this island right now, but we throw in ones like this just because, again, why not? Almost everybody wants to create their own buildings. Not everybody will. And this is what happens whenever you place one without scouring all of the seedlings in the area first that grow up through the floor, you see. There's an elevator right over here. Doesn't work yet, so I wouldn't worry about it. But
as I'm walking there, it doesn't work. Okay.
Right.
So, is there anything else that you want to show off that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah. I've got some stuff. I'm not sure how long it'll take us to walk up here, but it is worth it because I did want to show off 1 or 2 things you can only get from the top of this. If it's nighttime for anybody, it's essentially impossible to get through here without putting some lights up, but we scoured them out of the area for performance for the time being. This is more or less, it's not supposed to be a hopper, this one isn't. It's supposed to be a landing platform for air vehicles, specifically. But it's the biggest thing, so it's acting as our hopper right now.
Yeah, it definitely, you could tell what it was, looking at it from a distance.
Yeah. Imagine how long it'd take your ass to get up here if I hadn't told you you could run.
I think I'm going to get, yeah. I wouldn't even attempted it.
Yeah. But once you get up there, though, you get a heck of a view.
Oh, I got a platform here. I'm stopping. Let's see. What do I got?
I lost you.
I think I got the mid view.
Oh, okay. I see where you're at now.
I see somebody else.
We're so close.
Oh, I was so close. Alright, I'll go finish it off.
Yeah.
I noticed there's a stairwell over there in the distance up a mountainside.
Mm-hmm. That's what one of our guys has decided he wanted a little resort on top of there, but you know, your terrain negotiation skill determines what a slope that you can approach from. Right now, it's pretty much max because you notice that you could climb up trees, but only like lizard folk are supposed to have a terrain negotiation that high. So unless you take scout and then you take ranger, and then you could bump it up. But